You are now watching Making a Masterpiece with your host, Big Citrus.
Oh, answer the call and I climb that ladder. Grab my hammer, make the whole earth shatter. Back up, I won't die tonight. Light up the sky with a fire strike.
When it comes to online video games nowadays, I feel like they can sort of feel like a popularity contest. There's certain characters that the developers clearly like more than others. They'll get more new content, more new lore and new skins and everything. And when it comes to Overwatch specifically, the most popular heroes in the game are, shocker, the conventionally attractive females. Now, this obviously goes for most games, and I understand why these things are done. If you want people who don't play video games to play video games, while showing them a cute character is a great place to start. And if I were to make a top 5 list of the most popular heroes in Overwatch, it would look something like this, but it's genuinely shocking to see who cracks the 5th spot. Reinhardt Wilhelm. Now, he may not be a conventional woman, but goddamn is he attractive. It's kind of crazy to think that Overwatch has been out for almost a decade and it has changed dramatically. Yet one character who has changed basically not at all is Reinhardt, and he's remained beloved in an iconic staple for this whole time. And it's weird to think how much people love Reinhardt given that Overwatch is a hero shooter and he doesn't really do any shooting. Every time I'm talking to someone who's never played Overwatch and playing it with them for the first time, I almost always tell them, look at Reinhardt, experiment with him. And most of the time, Reinhardt will become single-handedly their favorite character. In a game that has a roster of like 40 fucking heroes now, that is impressive. And then it dawned on me, Reinhardt might be the best designed character in any multiplayer game ever. Go ahead, sit on your ass, welcome to class. This is Making a Masterpiece, and I'm your host, Big Citrus. This is basically just a series where I want to explore something that I genuinely hold near and dear to my heart, and hopefully you can find and learn something new. More specifically, how do you make a masterpiece? How was this one made? It might be weird to think about now, but back in even 2015, there weren't a lot of games that really had multiple different classes or roles for a character to fill. And if you look at all these games that have come after Overwatch, you can clearly see the amount of Reinhardt clones or Reinhardt influenced characters. And there have definitely been some good ones, such as Gibraltar from Apex Legends, but there's just a level of charm, a level of sauce that is missing from them that I feel like Reinhardt possesses. Now, what should be the purpose of a tank hero in a game like Overwatch? Be big and eat damage. You're basically just a sponge that's goal is to drive itself through multiple people. It's weird to think about now, but I feel like if Reinhardt got added to Overwatch today, people would be like fucking furious about it. Oh, this character's hammer can fucking hit people through shields and barriers. Oh, he could just like go full speed charging into me, and if he pins me against a wall, I die instantly, and has an ultimate that can stun everybody on the team for seconds at a time. This game fucking sucks. Because if you look at exactly what Reinhardt does on paper, it does seem like he'd be a bit oppressive, but Reinhardt fits perfectly into the game that is Overwatch. He's essentially the one character that is completely limited by range, and basically every hero in Overwatch has some form of exceptional long range damage, or if he gets too close to them, exceptional close range damage. Before I go way more into Reinhardt's, base gameplay mechanics and everything that only stupid, boring video game nerd boys like myself care about, let's discuss more about the man, Reinhardt Wilhelm. Do I really need to pronounce the V and the W just like it's German? Do I have to do it? Silhouettes are something that are very important in all art design. Any iconic character has an iconic silhouette. And even Reinhardt, who's more of a basic design, you take one look at him and you immediately recognize him. You look at him, you see a hell of a hunk of a man. But let's actually take the mask off. You look at Reinhardt's face and you also see a man who's been through some shit. Reinhardt was a crusader. This was a group that during the big Omnic robot crisis that all of Overwatch was created to fight, they said, damn, these robots are made of metal, we should be made of metal. And they got these big ass mech suits that are powered by like fire and steam that allows them to charge around at supersonic speed and shoot fire strikes. And you see that Reinhardt, while he's a big lovable goofball, is also someone who cares very much about others' safety. Reinhardt is loyal to a fault. Along with Ana, he is the oldest member of Overwatch, and even all this time later, he was one of the first people to answer Winston's stupid little recall thing. He has people around him who are telling him, Reinhardt, take it easy, when the fuck are you gonna retire? And he can't. The fighting at this point is all he's ever known, and at this point it is all he's good at. But he fights because he knows there are freedoms to be protected, and people to be protected. For one, I think it's just important to have a character, if they're gonna be like really goofy and everything, to be someone that has a balanced out, maybe sad element to their their character. It just helps you resonate with them more. One of the key beauties of Reinhardt as a character is the fact that his personality intertwines perfectly with his gameplay. They're both reflective of one another. When you see how he plays in game, or you hear how he talks and learn about his character, you're already learning about the other side of Reinhardt because they're serendipitous, they coincide. All of the best Overwatch heroes, I feel like, inhabit this future of having a personality that reflects their gameplay and vice versa. There are so many great hero moments you can do on this character, from charging backwards into your team and throwing up your shield, covering a support's ass who is being shot at by a Genji or a Tracer, earth-shattering that same Genji the moment he gets his nano blade off, completely disrupting 2 ultimates with just one, fire striking a character like a Mercy, Echo, or Pharah who's just flying away and about to get away, but whoosh, you snipe them out of the air. Of course, breaking up the entire enemy team, charging into them, stopping an entire enemy team's push with just your body. Reinhardt was designed to feel heroic. There's a reason, though, there's so many Reinhardt one-tricks, because honestly, he is one of the most consistently fun characters in all of Overwatch to watch and to play. So much so to the point where people say that Overwatch has been the most fun game to play and to watch when Reinhardt has been meta, been the best tank in the game, the best pick. The actual initial gameplay and balancing design behind Reinhardt was mainly done by Jeff Goodman and Jeff Kaplan. It's so rare in games like Overwatch that you have a character that both the hardcore fans and casual fans love. And I think it's because Reinhardt actually has enough creative depth within his gameplay mechanics to have people who want to master him and learn every little intricacy about his character and truly perfect the art of Reinhardt. And then you have the casual fans who just love who Reinhardt is as a character, and they can easily play him and get so much enjoyment out of him without having to put 1,000 hours into him. Now, the original idea for Reinhardt when they were designing him was a character that had some sort of like fiery flail and a juggernaut. This was a previous idea left over from a previous Blizzard project called Titan, and many of the concepts for characters in that game, which was supposed to be more like an MMO PvP game, kind of like World of Warcraft, were taken and molded into characters for Overwatch. There's actually a fun little Easter egg in game on his armor that references the number of design changes that he went through before they decided on Reinhardt. Funny enough, Reinhardt actually started out as Orisa. Jeff Kaplan's main idea for Reinhardt was just simply a juggernaut that could drive through an entire enemy team, being unstoppable, allowing his team to push forward. Arnold Sang, who was the main concept artist and designer for Overwatch for a number of years, did a lot of the original conceptual designs for Reinhardt and the finalized design. Looking into Arnold's background, he was a big fan of anything comic related growing up, so it makes sense that he designed a lot more of the larger than life feeling heroes in Overwatch. Some people have criticized Overwatch's world for being just like a bit bland, feeling very Marvel-esque and everything, but that was 100% on purpose. Blizzard knew that they wanted Overwatch to be a hit, so they designed it to appeal to a casual audience, but also give these characters some more depth. Yes, Reinhardt does feel like a superhero, and they designed him to play like one. I'll put that in the end as a blooper. Oh my god. I look like I'm a fucking Sith Lord, bro. Also, it's interesting to see how many teams it actually took to bring a character like Reinhardt to life. They got artist Ben Zhang to mainly design his equipment. He wanted to make sure that Reinhardt didn't just have like a big ass hammer. Even though that's essentially what it is. You look at it and it's identifiable as a hammer, but it's also this rocket powered thing. It looks very futuristic and cool. Helps it stand out. And while Reinhardt was designed as a more imposing, menacing superhero who wasn't afraid of anything, creative design lead at Blizzard Chris Metzen felt that Reinhardt really needed something that separated him from these other big, larger than life characters. Like, he should be friendly, almost like a big golden retriever. The guy you would want to hang out with at the bar who's always just buying you drinks because he's such a Chad. It's crazy to see in the original Overwatch beta that had shit like the Bastion shield that allowed him to have a shield while he's in turret form. Symmetra's weird flickety shield that she threw on people. Torbjorn turret that he had to pop his ultimate to upgrade to level 3. And just how fast you could build ult charge in general. Like, Overwatch was such a different game even at that time. But when they released Overwatch Classic recently and people played Reinhardt, he mostly feels the same. Yes, his barrier health has diminished over time. Yes, you get 2 fire strikes now because of 5v5, and you can cancel your charge now. And his ultimate Earth Shatter will actually do like direct damage, which allows for some very funny moments. Same with the canceling the charge thing, just all around fun. The changes that they've made to Reinhardt over time have not stripped him of his identity, but actually improved him, which is another thing that I think makes him a masterpiece. They understand the core identity of Reinhardt and have been able to build upon his design instead of breaking it down. Blizzard hasn't always done a perfect job at this, but when it comes to Reinhardt, it's always been a success. When Overwatch first came out, Reinhardt was immediately one of the fan favorite heroes. It definitely helped that they got legendary voice actor Darren DePaul to voice him, and I could not imagine any other voice actor recapturing what Darren does for Reinhardt. There's this sort of gruffness to his voice that shows that he is in fact a real man, but there's this sort of affable goofiness, this warm heart feeling to him that really makes him feel like someone you want to be around, someone that you want to have a laugh with, someone you trust with your life.
Our comrade has fallen! Rally to me! I have your back! I am the hammer of justice!
Darren also does a great job at delivering these cold, somber voice lines from Reinhardt that make him sound reflective of his past and the things that he's been through, and adds a layer of sadness to the character.
I'm not as young as I used to be. Many of my comrades fell in battle here. May they rest in peace.
The range he gives a character like Reinhardt easily transforms the character into something larger than life, something greater.
And maybe someday you could learn to handle a real weapon!
Now, when they've talked about like their design philosophies for a lot of tanks in Overwatch, they always use the term anchor tank. Reinhardt was the first tank they ever put in the game that was supposed to be an anchor tank. They understood that Reinhardt was really a character that, depending on how the Reinhardt played, your team could easily be built around that one Reinhardt player. He could control the pace of action by just simple little decisions. His shield's strong enough and wide enough to really just cut off so many angles and allow you to play in so many little spots as a DPS, for example, that you wouldn't be able to play in otherwise. Even though he's so limited by range, it is not hard for a Reinhardt to turn around, charge back into the enemy team, and get a diver off of backline. Positioning, in my opinion, is the most important thing in Overwatch and most games, but in Overwatch especially, I feel like it goes very under noticed just how much it matters. Tell me when Ramacho walks out of spawn, one of you two.
Okay, yes sir.
Just call it the moment it happens.
Ow, 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 ow.
Fucking,
You're such a little
That's
cunt.
crazy.
one person being out of position in a fight can easily change the tide of an entire game. Not even necessarily because they'll get killed, but because they'll have to back up, use their abilities. But what that means is now you have a character like Reinhardt who, because he positioned himself better than the enemy and that person had to use all their abilities, they have nothing now. They're just a stationary target, and then they can drive into the enemy team and force the rest of their team to use abilities now as well, because that person cannot do nearly as much as they were able to 5 seconds ago because of the poor positioning. And it's all so serendipitous with his kit. If there's someone in the backline that his teammate got one shot but he's not able to quite hit them, he can hit a fire strike. Or if because poor positioning allows for it and the enemy tank doesn't have an ability that can block or stun Reinhardt when he goes for his ult, or it allows Reinhardt to get an easy earth shatter. Reinhardt's positioning is obviously very important because in a lot of scenarios he can just get stunned, anti-healed, and just destroyed. Even if he has his abilities up, they all take a small amount of time to pop. Even his goddamn hammer swing takes just a moment to actually hit and connect with the enemy. So if the enemy team is quick enough, they can absolutely punish a Reinhardt who is in way too deep without his team. It also puts pressure on the support players to want to make sure that Reinhardt is full health at all fucking times. And it does allow you to feel like that anchor, like you're constantly pulling your team along with you, sometimes for better and sometimes for worse. Because Reinhardt can do a little bit of everything in a good way. It really feels like the Reinhardt player dictates how the team needs to play and not Reinhardt himself. You're not like locked into one method of team play. Now, I haven't actually gone super in depth to Reinhardt's abilities and how they work because they're incredibly simple. That's a big reason why so many casual players fall in love with Reinhardt right away, because he is that simple. There's this thing called a skill ceiling and a skill floor. Skill floor essentially is just how easy a character is to learn. Skill ceiling is how easy a character is to master. Reinhardt does not have the highest skill ceiling in the game, and I also think he has actually a pretty low skill floor. Any average Joe can learn Reinhardt, learn how he's quote-unquote supposed to be played, kind of play the safe Reinhardt style, and get really far with him. Fire Strike goes through every barrier in the game that's not a Diva, Sigma, or a Genji block. It can hit multiple targets, which means if you get really good with Fire Strike, you can become a lethal sniper, racking up ult charge as quick as you can, because Reinhardt's ult doesn't actually take that much ult to charge, which I think is fair because, yeah, it can be an ultimate that stuns everybody on the team for a couple seconds at the time, and if you hit them close range, it will do a metric fuck ton of damage to them. But also, it can be blocked by walls, shields, someone just jumping when you do it at an awkward time. But when I will say Earth Shatter, when it comes to interacting with the payload, kind of is just like an RNG thing. You might hit them on top of the payload, you might hit them under it, you might not, who knows. One thing I love about his rocket hammer, you actually get slowed just slightly when you get hit. It allows Reinhardt to be able to catch up with you, keep smacking that ass, and walk forward up to you without you getting away. And this is something I feel like people don't realize about his hammer. It's such a smart element of design. It also helps that Reinhardt has always had one of the larger pools of armor in the game. Armor is just better health. You just take less damage. It makes it to where if you're full health, like I said earlier, healers are going to want to keep you full health. If your shield gets broken instantly, you're not just going to die instantly. And also his charge is fantastic. It does a small amount of knockback to anyone that is on kind of like the side of him or behind him when he uses it. But if his body lines up with someone else's body and that person is not currently invulnerable, they are going to get attached to Reinhardt. His charge lasts about like 5 or 6 seconds, and if he's able to pin them up against a wall or some sort of object in that time frame, it's going to do like 400 damage, and basically all squishies will instantly die. Or like I said earlier, you can like go straight through a ledge with someone and then cancel the charge and charge them off the map. It's fantastic. Earth Shatter, self-explanatory. It's just a cone that fires out. You know, you're meant to use it to shut down people. It can even stun people out of ultimates and everything, which I honestly think is balanced since it is an ultimate ability itself, and Reinhardt actually can charge people out of ultimate abilities if he hits them just in time. And also he can do this with Earth Shatter just one more time. But you think about all this, and again, you have to understand that Reinhardt is still so limited by mobility, by range, and all of his abilities just take that little amount of time to activate. He can't immediately go and do something stupid, be close range as fuck, doing a bunch of damage, and then immediately be able to switch into one of his other abilities to help himself out. It just doesn't work like that. Honestly, I think one of the main reasons that Reinhardt was so meta back in the day is because people just loved playing him compared to all the other tanks in the game. Reinhardt also was definitely meant to be played in a mirror match format against other Reinhardts. And a Rein duel is something that, yes, the Reddit Reinhardt mains love. Just a little too much. But a good Rein duel is one of the most beautiful, heavenly things you'll ever see in an Overwatch match. That moment where they're just hucking fire strikes back and forth, holding a choke with their shield up, just trying to farm that ult as fast as they can, walking up to each other, getting a few hammer strikes in, and then backing out, seeing which one's gonna make the charge first so the Reinhardt can attempt to countercharge them, therefore canceling their charge, or perhaps wait for the Reinhardt to charge and then maybe charge them back into their team or further away from their team, therefore not allowing them to be healed. And of course the moment where both Reinhardts know that they both have Earth Shatter, and they're just doing that dance, holding the shield up, trying to fake the enemy right out by not holding their shield up for extended periods of time. But eventually the hammer's gonna drop and someone's gonna be left with their ass in the dirt. Oh my god. Oh my god. It leads to some of the most beautiful things that you'll ever see in Overwatch in terms of intuitive counterplay. A real mental battle, which you don't get to see too much in Overwatch. And honestly, I think Reinhardt is just perfect. And he just makes me feel like a man. My chat donated me a bunch of money for me to get oiled up. I kind of set like a big donation goal, and then genuinely I didn't think they'd meet it. So that's why I had to put this in this video, and I tried making sure the oil was really shiny in the light, but my body hair absorbed a lot of the oil, so it didn't really work, by the way. I apologize for this dearly. I think it says a lot that most people, when they criticize something about Reinhardt, they criticize how cringy some of the people who one-trick him, only play that character can be, and they don't ever really criticize the hero himself. I think it's going to be a long time until we see a character get added to a PvP game that embodies more honor, more justice, and more glory than Reinhardt. By the way, if you like the song at the beginning, like I said earlier, it's probably out now on Spotify and Apple Music and all those other platforms. I would genuinely appreciate you giving it a stream, even just to support me, even if it's not your cup of tea. Hey, I'm not a huge tea person either, but it would genuinely mean the world to me. I've been working on this video and that song for over a month now. Oh my god. Making a masterpiece is probably going to be like the main thing going forward with this channel. I maybe want to do maybe 1 or 2 more episodes on Overwatch. Please leave suggestions down below, but I also want to do things on other video games, other elements. Dude, I'll review the Battle of Gettysburg. Also, it's a masterpiece. You gonna disagree with me? I think I even had like a legitimate episode planned down the line that's on the Costco food court, because that's a masterpiece to me. You can become a patron to get access to these videos early, or you can just follow any of the links in the description below. Honestly, that is more than enough. I really appreciate everything you guys do. I've been Big Citrus, and have a damn good one.